Welcome to TOOP TV's newest segment, Fireside Chat. The original Fireside Chat was a regular radio show used by presidents to inform the public of the latest issues. It originated in 1933 and ran until 1944. But now the Fireside Chat is back and we're using it to tell you about the latest real estate issues. It's uninterrupted interviews with the experts in the know. So sit back, relax and enjoy Fireside Chat.
So I'd like to introduce Mandy Worth, General Manager, and Tim Threadgold, Senior Sales Partner. So welcome, thank you for coming to the event.
Pleasure.
Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the history of TOOP+TOOP.
I'll get
You
started,
go where it started.
Okay. 25 years in business. This year we celebrated our silver. Started off in Anthony and Sylvia's study with an IMB computer, you know, like a sewing machine, and one finger typing from Anthony. Some of that time was spent thinking about how could he take his business forward and making it different from industry. Real estate is quite a conservative industry that we work in. So he had the energy to move that forward. From there, you know, thinking about what's innovative, what can he put out there that's different. I guess one of the first things we did was lights on signs, which back there 25 years ago was just not heard of. They were like art. They weren't just a sign that you would see today. And they sort of stood by themselves. Nobody could work out how that happened. That invoked some interest from people like the council. Is it approved to do this? From EDSA to see, what are you doing, lights on signs? Is it OH&S friendly, even back then? We worked out at that time that actually that was some of our competitors going, what's this young whippersnipper doing in our market? So the history of TOOP+TOOP is quite unique, and to be unique you needed a leader with some vision who could take it forward, and I think that's been Anthony right behind this all the way. Tim's been with the business 22 years, so he's probably seen a lot more than I have, and I don't know whether he wants to add any more to that.
I could add a number of other things, but certainly the signs were perhaps a part of the business that the company grew around. We also developed a magazine in the first instance, which was a departure from the standard of handing out brochures. We used to combine our magazine, or all brochures into a magazine, and hand them out at open inspections and from the office. Humble beginnings, I guess, with that, stapling them together as they came off the photocopier on a Friday afternoon, ready to hand out to the sales partners and then on to the public over the weekends. And now is a magazine which is produced in, I think, Melbourne. Yes. Flies across via email on a Tuesday and comes back delivered to us on a plane, I think, Wednesday afternoon. Mm-hmm. So it's quite amazing, a full colour magazine. Some of the other things, the advent of the internet, of course, has been pretty amazing. TOOP's website is amazingly interactive and nicely free of advertising, as opposed to some of the industry websites, and very user friendly. We've had things like virtual tours, down to multiple shots photography, talking signboards at one stage, all sorts of different things that have been very innovative, some things that have carried right on through the business to today. Others that sort of got left behind with better technology coming along as well.
Unbelievable. So TOOP+TOOP has certainly been innovative in their thinking and development. Why would you say that's a priority for any business?
For any business, you need to stand out in the crowd. You know, it doesn't matter what business you're in, you need to take something to the next level that makes you different to your competitor. And for us, it's looking outside our own industry to see the products that other industries have, to see whether or not we can adapt that to our industry and how does that work. And that's what makes you stand out. We don't want to be just known as another real estate agency. That's not who we are. What we are marketeers who work with our client to promote their property in the best possible light. And to do that, we've got to look at different ways to get it out there. One of the first innovations for us, besides the signs, was radio. And we had it was 88.8 FM where we put this little gadget inside your home, and we could, if you stood outside or pulled up outside in your car and went to 88 FM, you could actually hear on the radio the broadcast about the property. You know, so we've gone from there to now the big stuff for us is like iPad, which is, from a real estate agent's point of view, is just taking it to the next level. And we've got our own app now where you can view property and just download this app and you can view property anywhere. So it's looking outside what everybody else is doing to make you stand out. And I think that's what makes us different. We are not industry standard, and we're never going to be followers. We're always going to be leaders.
So traditionally, innovation has been in product or technology development. Now, what would you say contributes to the innovation at TOOP+TOOP? Perhaps more than that.
I think you've got to have somebody who's got vision and who's consistently thinking about how can I do this better, and has got the energy to carry it through. But it's certainly bigger than one person. You've got to have somebody with the vision and the dream to take it there, and then the team behind you to keep pushing it. And I guess we are lucky that we have Anthony in that respect, because he's consistently thinking about how does he move it forward, and then we've got the energy to follow it through. And that's going to be always consistent, because you actually always have to think of different ways to do your business. You can't just get stuck in the one way, because you've got to move with change.
Sure.
And we're forever changing. You know, innovation's not, it's not incremental, it's transitional, and you transition it into your business. And that's what you've got to keep doing all the time.
I was going to say, I think the idea with a lot of, I should say with all of the innovations, it comes back, I think the vision is always, how is this going to help us win business, and at the same time allow our clients to stand head and shoulders above other property, in this instance, that's on the market. So, you know, if you take it right back to those signboards, the whole business listed property based on this one piece of equipment, if you like, because it stood out in the crowd, and that allowed us to get our foot in the door to talk to the next group of people, and so forth. So I think that's been very much the approach with everything that's been developed along the way.
Right.
And any innovation actually has to add value. So we can all, and we've had some brilliant ideas that just haven't added value. So they've been left on the shelf and we've moved on. But if you don't try it, you're never going to know. But it actually has to add value to what you're doing.
So over the 25 years, you've obviously tried a lot of different innovative techniques, and some good, some bad.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps what were some things that didn't quite go to plan during that time?
Well, I can't actually, having known that the question was coming, I can't actually think of anything specific. There's probably something, but I think the interesting thing that I came up with was a lot of things that have been tried, and probably new technology has superseded them. So Mandy mentioned the FM 88.8. That's a great example where we used to be able to pull up out in front of the sign, hear a speech about the property. Well, now we've got iPhones, iPads and the like. Press a button, press it again, and up comes the detail on the property. 26 photographs, the floor plan, the lot. You know, that to me has been an evolution rather than perhaps something that got left on the shelf. I can't think of too many things that we've tried that haven't actually worked in their time, but they've probably just been superseded.